Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm your host, Dave, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my sister, Katie. Katie, what's happening?
Oh, we're just trying to make it work here. You know how we do.
So apologies up front. Lots to apologize for. I know that really makes you want to listen to the podcast when we have to start with a list of apologies. But first of all, apologize for the lateness. It was Thanksgiving. Never really found a good chance to get away from the rest of the family and podcast. So we love our family.
Very
We wanted to spend lots of time with them, and so there's that. Also, apologizing, Katie. Will you tell the people your situation?
Well, I brought my computer home thinking we could podcast while we're together, but like you said, we just didn't get around to it. And so I drive all the way home yesterday and I'm sitting in my apartment at least a half hour before I realize I left my computer there. So I'm without a computer.
Yeah. So basically, Katie is podcasting from her cell phone right now, and so
Oh,
you
yeah.
might notice some glitchiness in the sound. Maybe the sound is off of the video. There might be a slight delay between me and her, but either way, we're gonna try to get through this, and we just wanted to get something out there to share our thoughts on the episode. So without further ado, let's get into it, Katie. Did you enjoy the episode?
Well, I enjoyed it because it was the one time of the year where our whole family gets to watch together. So that literally just happens once a year, unless something crazy goes down, which it never does. Fun. But it was a weird episode. It was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird one.
Yeah. There was the whole I don't know what Mike was doing. We've gotten some clarification on that, and apparently there's a lot of crap we didn't see from that tribal council that happened. So we can talk about that. But it was very confusing. But there was a couple of good gameplay decisions that we saw. But overall, I mean, it was the Cole vote out. I've been predicting he was going to go home for like 4 weeks. So it was just like, okay, finally. So a bit of anticlimactic, but also wrapped in a confusing little package, I say.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was made more fun by being able to watch with you and the rest of the family and stuff. So that it just had that kind of tone over the top of it that it was fun to watch with you guys. And but yeah, I agree that like more the biggest thing that stands out from this episode is like what the hell was going on in this tribal council like so
Yeah.
I actually got a chance to rewatch it and I feel like things made a little more sense on the rewatch.
Okay,
So
so upon the rewatch, what's your deduction of what happened?
I really what I got from it was that it was just really poor gameplay by Mike, and just basically they never had any intention of switching votes or anything. So
Right.
it's much ado about nothing. I mean, they were gonna vote for Cole, and Mike tries to, he tells Joe like, "Let me take the reins on this one, trust me." And then Joe's like, "Ugh," he's got a look on his face like, "I don't know, man." And
Yeah.
Mike just does a terrible job of doing nothing, accomplishing nothing. It was really fun to watch the looks on Lauren's and Chrissy's face as they like bury their face in their hands at like because he's just not accomplishing anything, and that's pretty much what it comes down to from what I can gather. I'd like to hear what you said more has come to light about it. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, so apparently Mike was attempting he just didn't want the other vote to go on Joe because he didn't want Joe to go home. So he was trying to make sure Cole went home and that the other votes that they split went to him so that Mike and Joe would be safe because he wanted to keep Joe in the game and he didn't care if Cole went out of the game, I guess. And that so he was just trying to ensure that Cole went and he and Joe did not. So, and
Okay.
apparently he even had a fake idol that he gave to Joe before the vote. So Joe had a fake idol, Mike had a real idol, and so he was really just trying to save Joe, is
And
what I get.
Joe didn't even play the fake idol. Was that like a betrayal at all, or?
I think Joe knew it was
Oh.
fake. I think everybody kind of knew it was fake, but they
Okay.
weren't sure, so it just kind of ensured that they would go for Mike and Mike and Cole.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't buy that any of I mean, I don't buy that any of that had anything to do with the votes. I think they were gonna vote for Cole anyways. I don't think they were going for Joe. I don't know.
Yeah, because they were showing before the and that it was going to be Mike, and that's why everybody was so pissed off, or a couple people were really pissed off. So, you know, apparently Ben got his way, or
Yeah.
else maybe this solidified Ben being right. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a good call. I mean, it's tough to say like how it ended up being Cole. Maybe you are right. Maybe Mike actually accomplished something here because you do have the discussion of yeah, we're getting steamrolled by Ben. Like why we don't want to vote for Cole, we want to vote for Joe. Let's
Mhm.
so ultimately Ben gets his way even after there was I think like five people that sort of agreed like, let's just do our own thing on this one. Um
Yeah.
how do you think that shook out? Do you think it was just because they eventually the round table just got together one more time and just decided to go Cole or what?
Yeah, I think they knew Cole's the right decision. I mean, he almost won that immunity challenge too. So that's the person who you get rid of at this point in the game. This is just when you get rid of those people. So
Right.
you can get rid of Joe anytime, so they say. It is dangerous to leave him in the game, but it's more dangerous, I guess they thought, um, to leave Cole in the game.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
I
know. I
totally
think it
agree.
was the right call.
Yeah, I think it was the right call too. And I mean, obviously, you want to get rid of Joe as soon as possible, because he is
Hmm.
way more dangerous than they even realize. I think, but once again, I'm sticking to that. I think he's gotten past the part he needed to get past, and now he's going to be like he's going all the way. I don't know.
You got through the danger zone.
Right, right,
It
right.
sure looks like he and Mike are in trouble, but people get antsy. They don't want to wait until it's just down to the seven because you know, they know someone's got to strike first, and in order to strike first, you have to strike early and use the two remnants of the old alliance as numbers. And I think you're going to see that next week.
Right. I mean, especially people like Ashley. Like, I couldn't help but notice, like, when she was talking to, the people like Ben and Chrissy and Ryan and Devin, like, when she's talking to these people who are in her alliance, I think it's painfully obvious that she is in no power position in the alliance. So, like,
Right.
people like,
No one takes her seriously.
right, she's obviously at the bottom. So, like, people like her need to seriously make a move sooner rather than later. They can't wait to seven because then they're totally screwed. So she's one of the people that would really benefit from making a
Yeah.
move next week.
Yeah, it was really frustrating to watch Ben just shoot them down. Like he just wouldn't even listen. You have to, even if you are in the perceived power position, you have to at least pretend like you're listening and like you're part of a cooperative round table. Like right now, Ben's sitting at the head of that table. That's no round table that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I found it frustrating again to see. I think Ben did make some moves this week that I liked, but I did not care for that.
Right. Yeah, Ben had a really good soundbite in that tribal council saying like, "Oh, Joe says I'm King Arthur and leader of the round table, but he's the one who's living in a fantasy world." I was like,
Nice,
"Nice, nice."
nice, very
um,
nice.
yeah. So, what do you think of Ben going to Devon? Is this for real? Is the Ben Devon thing really happening? Is that a real thing?
I think it's real on Ben's part. What did Devin say after that? Didn't he say something like, "Oh, Ryan's out and Ben's my person"? Did he mean that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I he does say something along the lines of like I'm with Ben, to the end. Like that's my
Mhm.
guy or something. which I don't. That seemed to come out of nowhere, but
That's stupid. Yeah. One
um,
conversation and you're throwing 24 days with Ryan away and you're all of a sudden on Team Ben.
yeah,
I guess maybe he knows that Ben's a target, and so teaming up with him, he's not going to be the target.
yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I actually think I just heard something about a secret scene with Devin. I'm sure you've
Yeah,
watched
I
it.
did watch that secret scene.
Let's hear about that. Tell us about what he says in that secret scene.
Well, basically, he lets you in on his strategy, and he knows he's coming off a certain way because that's just who he is. He's playing up the fact that people are drawn to him because he doesn't seem like he's intense. He doesn't seem like he's overthinking. He's not a game bot like Chrissy or Ryan. He's like, in their eyes, he's the opposite, but he's using all this information that's come to him, and he has a lot of information, to like position himself in a way that people don't see until hopefully it's too late and he's already cut their throats. But he's just letting us in on, it's good to see that he's doing this intentionally. He's not out in front intentionally, because the people who are out in front, like Ben, are the targets for the minority, which at this point is 2, but still. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, right. He specifically mentions Ben, but
He does.
by name, as the guy that, like, I'll let Ben be out front. I'll let
Yeah.
Ben be the leader. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so just the fact that he has the wherewithal to articulate that strategy means that there is some intention behind his strategy of sort of
Oh
being
yeah, I think
the
there definitely is.
yeah, exactly. So, as far as go
He
ahead, I'm sorry.
So yeah, he knows there's gonna come a time where he has to emerge and make the move. He's just waiting for the right moment.
Right. I think, yeah, you have to do something at some point where people know you played the game. But I mean, we have sort of compared Devin to Michelle, that
Or he
Michelle
could be Aubrey though.
Devin?
Well, yeah, because if they don't see his game, which is his one concern,
I
they're
don't think
not going to give it to him.
I don't think Aubrey was very well liked by everybody. I think that's the problem with Aubrey. Devin is
Okay.
Devin is charismatic and just really well liked by everybody. So that's like, he doesn't necessarily have to
Yeah.
do anything. The Michelle types don't necessarily have to do anything. They just have to, everybody has to like them, and they have to get to the end with somebody that's pissed people off.
So,
What?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Getting a little bit of that. I think we're getting a little bit of that delay going. So it's getting confusing.
Sorry.
That's all right. What else can we talk about? How are you feeling about Chrissy after this episode?
Well, it's nice to see her working with some women. That was surprising, but good. Um, I was kind of confused when like the way the show's been showing us is that Chrissy was kind of in charge too, but it seemed like she was kind of powerless against Ben and his iron will. So that was weird.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Are you still like not liking her as a character?
She's she's annoying. I'm always going to be annoyed. That's just the fact of the matter. I'm sorry. She's still
Okay.
playing well, but she's not my favorite.
Yeah, at the very start of the episode, when they're all like sitting on that rock and
Oh
looking at
God,
the
I know what you're
sunset,
gonna
and
say.
she comes out and she's like, they're like, "How you doing, Chrissy?" She's like, "I'm happy. I'm happy every day." I don't know, like, kind of just irked me.
Bunch of baloney.
Just that big cheesy smile. I'm happy every day.
Yeah, that's because your life's not hard, lady.
Yeah. Also loved it when she was on the yacht or whatever, and she's like, "Well, it's nice to have a reward and all, but I'm really just glad I'm here so I can control the conversation." That's what she's
I don't
excited
think there's
about.
any controlling a conversation where Joe is involved. Good luck, is all I have to say.
Right. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Joe and him basically rustling the feathers of Ashley and
He was
Christy.
rustling.
Yeah, let's hear your thoughts on that little thing.
You know, I if he was pissing off somebody I liked, maybe I wouldn't like it as much, but like I was totally into it. I was like, keep going. Keep going, Joe. And it was working for him. I mean, it didn't work because Christy and Ashley were the ones who wanted him out. But like the rest of the group was like, no. So it didn't even matter. And for that reason. So, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Where are you going?
Sorry, my cat's having issues.
Oh.
Need to help her out there.
Damn it, blanket.
Sorry about that.
Silly cat.
Yeah, she has
Um,
problems. She has
let's see.
problems.
Where was I? Oh yeah. So Joe basically calls Ashley a goat, to her face.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yes. So isn't it true that she is a goat then? Because I mean, as from the television edit standpoint, we can see that like we feel like she's a goat, and obviously Joe feels comfortable calling her out. Is that just a coincidence, or yeah, is she actually
Mhm.
just playing a goatish game?
I mean, I think Joe sees what we're seeing, so it must be some truth to it out there. What is shown on the edit on TV, then it must be pretty blatant.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's just saying what he sees and using it against them.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was ripping
There
into.
has to be truth to something.
Yeah, for sure. Apparently, he was ripping into Chrissy too, but we never really got to see what that was. Do you have any idea what he was saying to her?
No, I don't really have any idea. They didn't really show much of that, did they?
No,
She
and
was
I'm
just,
wondering why they
you don't
left
have
that
to
out.
listen to this. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. I'm wondering why they left that out. If it was intentional to like make her not look as bad because I don't know, she's gonna go far or something like that. I don't
Maybe
know.
it was to make Joe not look as bad.
Oh yeah, that could be because we know he's going to the end. So
You seem to know that. A lot of other people think he's done soon.
okay. Um, let's talk about things from Ryan's perspective. How do you feel about Ryan sharing the
Hmm.
information with both these guys?
Hmm. Well, I think it was maybe a little bit greedy. He was feeling a little safe. I feel like at the most you should only share the fact that you have an idol with one person. I don't think you should share it with more than one person. So you have to be careful about who you choose. Devin would have buttoned that up and not told a soul, but Ben, I don't know why he's trusting Ben. He hasn't been with him that long.
Right. One thing I will say though, like Ben got so excited when he found out
Hmm.
that Ryan had it because it meant that Cole didn't. So
Yeah, that's why they got excited.
yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, oh, I can kind of see why Ryan felt so compelled to tell Ben because there really just was
Oh, yeah.
because there was this understanding that like as a group, as an alliance, they needed to know that Cole didn't
Mhm.
have the idol. And Ryan just felt like
Yeah.
he had to let the king of the round table know
And
what was up,
yeah.
that Cole didn't have it. So I can see it from that standpoint not being such a bad move telling Ben, but obviously it's starting to look like it's gonna kind of bite him. It's looking like it might bite him in the ass. I don't know.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at how quick Devin was to just drop him after he found out that Ryan told Ben. Like I thought Devin was super like tight with Ryan, but for him to just be like, "Nope, that's it. Me and Ryan are done." It shows that there's a calculating side to him that is not too attached to emotions. So, I think that both that's what usually makes a winner. Someone who comes off as emotional and as your friend afraid or will even hesitate to cut you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
that's why I think a lot of people are talking about Devin now as a potential winner.
Yeah. I can totally see it personally, for sure.
Yeah, he's got that right mix of personality traits, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I
And I
could
also
totally.
was thinking,
You go
sorry.
first. You go first.
Well, I was thinking about how when we were watching together, it sucks at immunity challenges, but I'm starting to wonder if it's all calculated, if he's failing on purpose. He's just gonna, have a surge late in the game when you want to have a surge and ride that wave to the end.
That would be really smart of him to do because I mean he should feel really safe. I mean, there's no reason to believe in his position that anyone's going to vote for him in these last couple votes. So if you're in that position, I think
Right.
it's totally wise to not win these challenges.
Right.
Um, it's maybe in Survivor years past, you'd say always try to win because your name could come up, but like you should be able to get a sense of where you stand in the game, and if you have a really good probability that you're not on the block, yeah, it's probably wise to drop out early.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe Devin's doing that, and I could see it, and I hope that's true because that's awesome.
Yeah. I hope so too.
um, yeah, I was just thinking about from Ben's standpoint, I can see why he would be scared of Ryan's idol because this is the sort of thing that will bite someone like him in the ass. Later on when there's maybe 6 people left or something like that, he could be the one that gets idled out of the game.
Yeah.
So uh if I know Ben is pretty he seems like he's thinking a lot about the game, and he's playing through a lot of scenarios in his head, and I could see him just being paranoid that the idol will ultimately bite him in the ass. So I think that's why he's looking at targeting Ryan in the future, in the near
Yeah.
future. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sort of scared Ben a little bit, seeing how much of a player Ryan actually is. Like during that whole digging fiasco, it was in his pants the whole time. Just knowing that is kind of like, whoa,
Yeah. Yeah, he
that's
and he
some Kaiser Soze type of nonsense.
yeah, and he even says that like that. Yeah, he has a confessional that says that shows that Ryan is here to win $1 million and he's here to play the game. So Ben is very
What did you
threatened.
think he was there for?
I know it's always weird when people say that. Like it's like I think they're all there to win $1 million, but okay.
I think so.
So yeah, I think Ben could definitely target Ryan sooner rather than later, but I also could see Ben being a target. Both those guys are kind of in they're in a rougher spot almost than Joe, I feel like, in the next couple episodes here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those guys out next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed. Let's see what else we got from this episode. Um, did you like the mooning?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay,
I'd be
that's
pissed too. I mean, it's like a light-hearted way to say F you guys for being on a yacht.
right. So last episode, we never had any confirmation that the Round Table or Knights of the Round Table was like an official alliance and that's their name, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't I think it was this week that you finally get things like saying, "Oh, at the last Round Table meeting," and they really laid
Yeah.
it on thick with the Knights of the Round Table this week. So apparently, they had a name for their alliance and all that.
I was wondering if Joe like gave them the nickname as like a smartass or if it was one they picked out themselves.
That's a good question because, as we mentioned before, Ben does have that quote where like Joe's calling us the Knights of the Round Table and calling me
Right.
King Arthur. So maybe it is something that Joe came up with. That's a good point.
I could see him doing that. I can't see Ben being like, "We are the Knights of the Round Table."
Yeah,
That's
yeah, you're right. It
weird.
doesn't seem like his thing. Um,
Seems like a Joe thing.
it does. I don't think I really have much else to say about the episode. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Uh, Not really. I think this might be the furthest a winner pick of mine has gone the whole
Ever?
time we've done this podcast.
Wow.
So that's
Good.
exciting.
Good for you.
Uh, Just wanted to brag a little bit there. 9th place
Yeah, I'll
at worst.
always have Brett LaBelle.
Yeah, Brett LaBelle went far. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say about the episode. It was strange. And it was like 5 days ago at this point, so I don't remember it that well. Um, I don't really care that Cole's gone. He didn't bring much to the table, so I'm happy he's not there to like things anymore. But yeah, I think next week's double episode will something big will happen. I really do think that.
Okay. Yeah, I liked the part in Tribal Council too where Jeff's like, he's like, Cole, you look like you're actually starting to shrink, like hoping that nobody remembers you're here.
Yeah.
And it was so true as more attention was drawn to Mike and everyone else, like Cole just kind of like shrunk in the background, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but then Probst called him out.
Yeah, and Cole's like, thanks, Jeff.
I mean, his number was up either way, but I thought Cole was really nice in all his exit interviews. He said that listening to Joe and Mike together is hilarious, and I wish we could see more of that on the show because it's obvious that they're working together now. I just want to see some of that banter.
I think we'll get to see that now. I think, with what the preview shows, we'll finally get to see that.
I mean, all they have is each other.
Right. Yeah.
At this point.
Also, just had to mention how funny when Ryan tells people he has the idol, just how he's like, I have an idol in my pants. Like,
did he have to say that? It was funny the first time, but like
he said it both times, and
it
just
say, I have the idol.
Yeah, it just comes out so fast, and he specifically says, "There's an idol in my pants," and he's like, his eyes are like darting around as he says it. He's like so paranoid as he mentions that. It's just a real funny moment. I think that's like going to be a memorable moment of the season. I think for me, just.
I'm sure. Yeah. I also want to mention that Lauren won immunity.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That was crazy.
Get it.
We saw that coming.
Yeah, that was good.
So, yeah, that was exciting. Good for Queen Lauren.
Anything else?
No, that would be it.
Who's your MVP?
Devin.
Did we give it to him last week too, or?
I'm sure I've given it to him. I usually just give it to Devin or Lauren and Joe.
Yeah.
So this week it's Devin. It could be any of those three this week, honestly. But
yeah, let me see who played a good game this week. I definitely can't give it to Mike. Yeah, we didn't even really talk about that. Mike played his idol. Did you have anything to say about that, or just other than that was dumb?
I think Mike would have benefited from going to a few tribal councils pre-merge. I don't think he quite has a handle on it yet.
Yeah, I totally agree. I can't remember whose podcast was talking about this, but they mentioned, if you're gonna play the idol or vote for Cole, they should be like, is the correct term mutually exclusive? Is that right? Like one or the other? Like don't.
Yeah, you should do one or the other.
Yeah, don't do both. If you're gonna vote for Cole,
if they had.
Sorry.
Yeah, if Joe and Mike had voted for Ben, and Mike had played his idol on Cole, Ben would have gone home.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, just poorly played all around by Mike today.
It was poorly played. I don't know what his goal was, but his goal should not have been what happened.
Right. And yeah, I just thought that needed to be said because whoever said that's a really good point. It's like one or the other makes sense, but both voting for Cole and playing your idol, it doesn't make sense like at all. So just a special anti-MVP award for Mike today.
Right.
MVP. Yeah, Devin makes sense, but I'll give it to Lauren just for winning immunity. Good for her.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Very impressive. Let's see. Yeah, so what happens in the preview and predictions for next week?
The predictions, basically, Dr. Mike says you might want to stay tuned.
Yeah.
Because something crazy is going to happen. But the fact that that's in the preview makes me think, well,
Maybe nothing
maybe it won't
happens.
happen.
Yeah, maybe the double,
So
because we got a double episode, right?
yeah, double the fun.
Double the fun. So that could very well mean it's just Joe and Mike back to back.
Oh God, if that's the case, then forget it. That's not the case. That's not what's happening. I think Ryan or Ben is going to go home. I will say Ben goes home.
You gonna pick both? Just one for the two, or are you gonna pick two for each episode?
I'll say Mike and Ben. I'll say one of the guys goes home, but then they shake it up. But that doesn't. Whatever. I'll say Mike and Ben.
That's good. Yeah, I pretty much agree with
Sorry.
that. I think it's either gonna be Ben or Ryan in one of the episodes, like somebody unexpected and sort of at the top of the alliance. A big move, if you will. And
Yeah.
I also think the other episode is going to be somebody a little less like that. So I'm thinking like either an Ashley, a JP, or like you said, a Mike. So I'm just to mix it up, I'm gonna say Ryan and Ash, or no, I guess they would look at like JP before they would look at Ashley as a
I
challenge
think
threat.
so. Yeah.
So let's say they look at JP as a challenge threat, vote him out. Ryan and JP.
Yeah. That makes sense. Imagine JP's Ponderosa. It'd be like 2 minutes long.
Less than that, it'd be like, I'm here at Ponderosa. It's pretty cool. Things like that. And gonna get some grub. Gonna get some sleep. It's been good playing Survivor, and so glad we could play. All right. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on the episode?
I think so.
Nope.
None.
Okay. All right. That'll do it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Sorry it's a little late, but we did it. We got one out.
We did.
You can find us on Twitter at TV is our real mom. Give us a thumbs up, a comment, and a sub on the YouTube. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.